Hey, what's up? What's up, y'all? What's going on? What it do? What it do? What's going on? What it do? What it do? Where y'all at? Where y'all at? Said where y'all at? Where y'all at? Where y'all at? Tap in. What's going on? I know I'm late. What it do? What it do? I ain't gonna be on here long. What it do, everybody? How's everybody doing on tonight? My voice still sound kind of rough. I'm trying to get rid of the cold. It's going away. It is going away. But I don't know why my voice just still sound a little rough. I'm sounding rough. I'm just joking. What's going on, y'all? How's everybody doing on tonight? On this morning, rather. Before we get into it, there go my thing acting up again. Before we get into it, please like, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Make sure it says all so that when I go live, you will get notified, okay? Now, I titled this, The Power in the Tongue, because a lot of us don't understand how we dim our own light, right? Some of us don't understand how we dim our own light. Some of us don't understand that when we say certain things, we going against ourselves, right? Like when you say, I'm broke. When you say, I don't like this job. When you say, this job is about the best it's going to get. You know, like when you know how when you talk negative to yourself, that's why a lot of y'all life goes to the left, because there's power in what you say. There's power in your tongue. So when you speak it, so shall it be. Okay? Hear me when I say that. When you speak it, so shall it be. And that's what's going on with some of us. We say things and we talk negative against ourselves. When we talk negative, like a lot of people say, "Oh, I'm broke." You hear a lot of people say that. What's something else that people say? Let me think. Oh, I gotta work this job because this about the best I could do right now. And just stuff, just certain things that you you speaking it over your life. And instead of saying those type of things, try to flip those negative things into a positive, right? And start speaking more positive stuff into your life instead of always saying something negative. Because believe it or not, it's like a curse. It's like you putting a curse over your life. That's how powerful your words are. That's how powerful your words are when you say them, right? It's like you are speaking a curse over your life. Hello, how are you? Y'all excuse my voice. It's still rough. How you doing? Yes, right. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. Yes, thank y'all for tapping in with me. Hello, Lap Lighting. How are you? Please subscribe to the channel. I would love to have you. Yes, God bless you too. The unfunny bunny. I like that. I like that. Yes, tap in with me. I appreciate y'all. It's good to see y'all in here. But back to what I was saying is that we talk so yes, please subscribe to the channel. I would love to have y'all. We when we speak, we don't pay attention to what we be saying, and a lot of times we be speaking. It's like you speaking a spell over your life, right? When you speak negative things in your life, like some people say, I'm broke. You hear a lot of people say that. That's why they broke, because they said all the time that they broke, right? Take and flip those negatives into a positive and see what you get. You have a good day. God bless you. You have a good day too, baby, and God bless you too. You know, take and flip those negatives into a positive and see what you get. Your tongue is very, very powerful. And I don't think people recognize how powerful your tongue really is. That's not a how what they call it. That's not just something people say. That's truth. That's the truth. You know? Um, do you know how to make a cake? Yes, I know how to make a cake. Yes, I do. Excuse me, y'all. But yeah, I wanted to touch on this a little bit because this is something very important that I don't think people really pay attention to. People say that people are that expensive for all people is heartwarming. Wait a minute, people say that people are that expensive for all people. It's is heartwarming. Yeah, yeah. Do you have it on you? Do I have what on me? She say, this is better than my $400 therapist. Oh yeah, they charge you, honey. I caught on to some of them real quick. But but yeah, we have to you're right. People are a lot expensive because when I'm trying to buy a person on the black market, there were only like $100. So I usually just buy a bundle of them. Oh, okay. So I was back to what I was saying, y'all. I got thrown off track for a minute. I was reading y'all comments. But yeah, some of us, I don't think we recognize how powerful our words are that come off our tongue. That's not something that is something that just people just say, right? That is true. When you speak things into your life, if it's negative, it's like you speaking a curse over your life or a spell. But try to flip those negatives into something positive and see what you get. You're gonna get different results. I'm telling you. I know because I've done it, right? I was one of those people that was always saying I was broke, and just speaking negative things, not knowing that the negative things that I was saying was the reason why things were the way they were. So now I watch what I say and I speak more positive things into my life instead of, speaking negative things into my life. And I'm telling you, it makes a difference. It really do. It makes a big difference. So many things have changed in my life from me changing my mindset as well as the things that I say out my mouth. You know, I am the only people here. Well, it don't matter. Some people look at the replay. I had people that come in and they do watch the replay. So it's okay. Um, I'm one of those people I don't get caught up in views. I feel like the people that really need this will watch it. You understand what I'm saying? So I don't get caught up in the views and all that. People that really need it, they'll watch it and they'll get something out of it. This video will touch the right people at the right time, you know, because some people could come in on something and they may not be interested right then. But then later on, my video may pop up and they may look at the whole video because it caught them at the right time. You understand what I'm saying? And sometimes things have to happen like that. Sometimes things have to catch people at the right time. You know what I mean? And so it's okay. Some people will look at the replay and stuff too. So I don't worry about that. I did plenty of videos where I didn't have views yet. I wasn't getting views and stuff like that yet. But I did them anyway because people started to come and look, even though, they would come and look at the replay. So I don't get caught up in that. I feel like all my videos are educational and they will touch the right people at the right time. You see what I'm saying? So yeah. That's how I look at it, baby, because some people are caught up into negative things. Not everybody, but for some reason, the negativity wins in a lot of ways. No, I'm not going negative just to get views. I got so much that I could teach other people. I got so much that has happened in my life that I could share with other people and that will give them some encouragement, you know? I was an addict at one time. I was a heroin addict at one time. I've been clean for 20 years. Yeah, I've been through some stuff. I lost my daughter one time. Um, and at this time it was crazy because I wasn't even getting high. I wasn't even getting high then. I had stopped getting high. But I ran up to the school up the street from my house to get her enrolled in school. I had to drop the papers off. Somebody in the building was watching me and called the police. And my daughter was in there. She was in there in her crib sleep. And the school was right up at the street at the corner. And by them calling them, when I came back down the street, I knew somebody had called them. When I seen the police call, I said, one of these itch bays done called the police on me. You know? Sure enough, one of them had called the police on me. And I got arrested. I did. I got arrested and everything. And I said, okay, okay. So when I got out, I guess they thought I wasn't gonna get out. But my daughter father, he came and picked me up and stuff. And when I got home, the girl wasn't sitting, she wasn't in the booth, right? So when I seen both of them, I said, I know which one of y'all called in on me, but it's all good. I said, don't slip up. Don't slip up because I'm gonna catch you. Don't fall because I'm gonna be here to catch you when you do. How come like a week later, I caught her children out in the hallway late at night and she wasn't even home. You know? You have a good day too, baby. She wasn't even home. And I could have called the people on her. I could have called the police on her, but I didn't do that. You know what I'm saying? I didn't do that because that's just not my cup of tea. I would never want to call no police on somebody and have their kids taken from them or something. But I could have done that. I could have got her right back. I just, I'm not that type of person. So I called her. I mean, the next morning, she came in. I said, your kid's been in here playing in the hallway all night. I said, now, you called the police on me. I said, you was wrong for that, but you did it. I said, and I could have got you back. I said, but I didn't. I said, but don't leave these kids in here again. You do. I'm going to call them. I said, I'm letting you know up front. I'm going to call them. I said, if you leave these kids, bye, baby. I said, if you leave these kids in here and I catch you, I'm going to call them. I said, because you know what you did to me was wrong. I said, you was wrong for that, you know? But yeah, and then eventually I ended up moving out and finding me a new place. But yeah, I've been through a lot. And I come on here to educate people, and try to get people to heal from trauma and, heal from being broken and damaged because I've done it. I rebuilt myself from the inside out. You can do it. Okay? It takes work, but it can be done. We don't always have to run to a therapist or something like that. Now, if you're somebody who need medication, if you're real bad off and you need medication, then yeah, I think you should go to a therapist. Hello, Shelly. Hello, Shelly Wee. How are you? I think you should go to a therapist if you need medication. Okay, because some people do need medication. Some people might be schizophrenic or something like that. So I do suggest that if you're somebody who's really bad off, then I suggest you don't try to do it yourself. I think you should go to a specialist, right? But if you're somebody who is just, excuse me, If you're somebody who is just broken and damaged from certain things, certain situations, you can rebuild yourself from the inside out. I did it. I did it. And that's why I come on here and I, share a lot of things with y'all, because I have a lot to share that could help people, you know? And a lot of us need that healing. We do. Some people don't want to admit it, they don't want to own up to it, but some of us are really broken and damaged. That's why we can't keep a relationship, right? That's why we don't have good friendships and stuff, because we carry around, some of us carry around a lot of damage. We are damaged and broken. And that plays a part in different areas of your life. You understand? So that's why it's so important for you to heal, from those things. Sometimes I sit in traffic and hotbox my car with, really, we really didn't need to hear that. We're not talking about that. Come on, don't come in here being rude. We're not talking about that. Hmm. Yeah, I don't like that. Don't come in here being rude. We don't need to hear that. Don't nobody want to hear that. We talking about something that matter in here. We not talking about no foolishness. I want to see people lives. I like to see people become better people, and I like to see people love themselves. You understand what I'm saying? Because once you start to love yourself, it's a game changer. It really is. Because once you start to love yourself, everything starts to look different in your life. When you really start to love you and you accept you, right? That's what healing does for you. Healing gets you to a place where you love you unconditionally. You understand? And you love you and all your flaws. You stop worrying about what people saying about you and what people think about you. That's what healing do. It's a how can I put it? Healing is, it's freedom. It's freedom for you to love yourself and be comfortable in your skin. You understand what I'm saying? And that's something that some of us struggle with. We really do. Some of us want to try to hide it, but in different spaces, in different areas of your life, your stuff come out. You understand what I'm saying? Your stuff comes out. You understand? Like in a relationship. You know how sometimes some of us get into a relationship and we can't communicate with the partner. We can't listen to the partner. It's just not there. The connection is just not there. Sometimes that comes from y'all being broken and damaged. Okay? And when you're broken and damaged, it makes it hard for you to be able to talk to one another and hear one another. You know? Yeah. That really do. It really do affects different areas of your life when you're broken and damaged and you're carrying around all that trauma, you know? You got to get to a place where you make a conscious decision to free yourself and heal from those things. Some of us had things that happened to us in our childhood that we still carrying around as adults. You see what I'm saying? And you got to heal from all that stuff. You can't go out here trying to make a family, be a wife or a husband, right? When you're broken and you're damaged. It just doesn't work out. It don't work out. It don't. So you have to make a choice in your life to want to heal and be better. Be a better person and do better. But you got to make that choice. I can sit up here and tell you all day, you deserve the best, right? You deserve the best in your life. You deserve to be a better person so that you can, change your life around the way you want it. I could tell you all the reasons why you should. But at the end of the day, it's all up to you and what you want to do for you. Okay? That's all that matters is what you would like to do for yourself. And you have to make that decision. Because when you get on your healing journey, it takes consistency, it takes discipline, right? When you get on your healing journey, you have to make that consistency. You have to have it. You have to have discipline when you do it, because a healing journey is not something you do for one day. It's a process. You see what I'm saying? It's a process. Now, I'm not saying don't start it at all, because if you can get started, that's a plus. That's a big plus. If you can just start, right? But you have to eventually, you have to put some consistency into it. You have to put some discipline into it in order for it to work. And most of all, you have to be honest with yourself. It ain't about being honest with me. It's about you being able to be honest with yourself about whatever it was that happened. You see what I'm saying? And then once you can do that, you're going to find that when you first start out, you're going to find that you may cry, you may break down and cry, you may get angry. You know, your emotions may be all over the place when you first start, right? But um as you keep allowing yourself to accept the things that happen, right? You're going to find that you're going to get better with it. With time, it's going to get better. But when you first start out, yeah, when you start out and you start addressing the issues and stuff, right? Yeah, you might cry, you might get angry, you might just have mixed emotions at first. But with time, it gets better. It gets better. But you don't want to stop. You don't want to keep starting and stopping. Because when you do that, you hinder your growth. You understand? You hinder your growth when you start and stop, start and stop, start and stop. It really does. It hinders your growth. So you want to get into it. You want to stick and stay with it, so it can do what it's supposed to do. And that's heal you. And you're supposed to see growth. And you know what? That's something that a lot of people have a hard time doing, is being open and honest with their self. And you know what I used to do? I used to stand in my mirror, and I used to look at my mirror and tell myself my story, what happened with me and everything. Just stand in my mirror. And I would do that until I couldn't do it no more. You know, because I would start crying, I would get emotional. Sometimes I would get angry, you know. So I would stand in that mirror and tell myself my story until I couldn't take it no more. And then I would stop. I'd be like, that's enough. Because I get overwhelmed, you know. So I'd be like, that's enough. That's enough. And then I would go back the next day and I would do it. I would do some more. I would do some more. But that's how I did for me. I stood in my mirror and told myself the truth about me. And like I said, yeah, I was hurt. I was angry with myself. It's just, I had a lot of emotions going on. I cried. When I first started, I cried. Then the next day, I was angry with myself, you know. Yeah, but with time, listen, I wouldn't go back and change nothing that I did, because it allowed me to accept the things that had happened in my life. Okay. I became okay with it. I got myself to a point where as though I accepted it. It is what it is. It was the truth. And I had to I had to get myself to a point of being able to deal with it because it was true. And so that's what I had to do. I had to break myself down and then rebuild myself from the inside out. And that's what I did. Yeah, it wasn't all, peaches and cream when I did it. No, it wasn't. No, oh no, 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 it wasn't. But those tears and that anger and stuff that I went through was growth. That was growth that was happening. Because I was willing to accept all my flaws. Everything that I went through that was my fault. I was willing to accept it. And that's what you got to be willing to do. You got to be willing to rebuild yourself from the inside out. Break yourself down and then rebuild yourself. That's what you got to be willing to do. And it's worth it. The work that you put in, that you're going to put into it, it's worth it. The tears, the anger, all the mixed emotions, that's growth. That's a part of your growth. Some people don't cry. Some people just go through an anger, through an anger, they just be angry. So your process is your process. My process was my process. I'm just sharing with y'all what I went through with with me being broken and damaged and the things that I went through, when I was on heroin and stuff like that. And so, like I said, it's not an easy thing, but you can do it. You can do it. And that's what you got to do. When you go into something like this, you go in it saying, I'm going to do this because I want to be better and I want to do better. I want to be a better person and I want to, I need to do this so I can heal myself, so I can be better and do better. And that's how you have to look at it. And always remind yourself that a storm doesn't last forever, because it don't. We all have storms in our life, but they don't last forever. And so that's just some things that you have to, remind yourself when you get ready to go through, your healing journey. You just put that in your head. I'm going to do this because I can do it. I'm going to do this because I need to do it. I'm going to do this because I want to be the best version of myself. You see what I'm saying? That's how you have to look at it. You have to take and pump yourself and encourage yourself. Pump yourself up and encourage yourself. That's what you have to do. But if you start talking negatively to yourself, you're gonna clock out. You're not gonna do it, and you're gonna say forget it. That's what you're gonna do to yourself. You can't do that. You cannot do that. You gotta boost yourself up and say, I can do this and I'm going to do it. It's about me being a better me. And you stand in that mirror and you look at the person you are right now and see, write down what you like about that person that's looking at you in the mirror and what you don't like. And then ask yourself, do I need to heal? Do I really need to do something about who I am as a person? Write those things down. The things that you don't like about yourself. Write those things down and then write the things down that is good about you. Write bad and good and write them down. And you got to listen, this is not going to work if you don't be honest with yourself. It's not going to work. If you go in it and you touching surface stuff, saying, oh, I'm not that bad. I'm not that bad of a person. I'm a pretty good person. I do stuff for people. No, we don't want no surface stuff. We need for you to get gut honest with yourself. Things, anything that happened in your childhood that wasn't right. We need that. We need you to get all that out. That's when you're going to see growth, is when you really start being open and honest about you. That's when you're going to see growth. But if you go in it and you want to play, just touch little surface stuff here and there, it's not going to work out for you. It's not going to work. It isn't. It's not going to work at all. And you just kind of wasting your time. And then check this out. After I was on my healing journey for a while, and I got to a point where as though I was able to accept me and all the things that I had been through, I started to share with other people. I came on social media and I shared my story. And it's a guy did an interview with me. He reached out to me and asked me, could he interview me? And I shared my story on his platform, you know. And from there, I just been, doing my thing from there. Hello, Corey. Hello, Duran. How are y'all feeling? Thank you. Welcome. But yeah, that's what it's about. It's about being the best version of yourself. And like I tell anybody, it can be done. It can be done. You just have to be open and honest with you. That's it. That's all. You really have to be honest with yourself. And some people look at that and they might say, I'm fine. How are you, Duran? Some people may look at that and say, oh, I can do that. But you will be surprised at how many people can't do that. You will be surprised. That's good. That's good. I'm doing great too, Duran. You will be surprised of the people who cannot do that. Be open and honest about their self. It's not an easy thing, but I'm telling you, if you do it, you will heal yourself. And you will, once you go through that process, you will then start to see growth. You really will. But I got sidetracked. Look, this not what I titled my video. But I really wanted to touch on how we talk to ourselves in a negative way. And the reason why so many things in our life doesn't work out for us. We think and we speak negative things off our tongue, right? About ourselves. Or we have doubt about ourselves. And do you know when you speak those things, right? It stunts your growth in your life. Whatever you speak off of your tongue becomes your reality. It really do. If you start speaking more of positive things in your life instead of so much negative things, you will see the difference. You'll see the difference. I'm telling you, you will. I'm telling you because I've done it. I've been there and I've done it. So I know what I'm talking about. Listen, one thing about me, when I come up here and I talk with y'all, I'm not talking about something that I don't know anything about. I'm talking about what I've been through. Okay? And so I have experienced that because I was one of those people who always had doubt about me doing what something I want to do or something, but I had always had doubt, you know? Excuse me. I'm trying to get over a cold, but for some reason my voice you see how I sound rough? My voice be sounding rough. But anyway, yeah, I was one of those people who did that, who would always be, doubting myself and stuff like that. And because I did those things, that's what would take place in my life. The things that I would speak off my tongue became my reality. I'm telling y'all. And a lot of us do that. I ain't the only one. A lot of us do that to ourselves. We speak negative things into our life. Is the reason why some of our lives are the way they are. And it seems like, I wonder how many of y'all can really be honest and, wonder why your life hasn't moved from where it's at. I know some people wonder that. I'm telling you, it comes from what you speak off of your tongue. The negative things that you speak off your tongue about yourself plays a part in your life. That's what happens. When you speak it, so it shall be. Try speaking positive things. Work on speaking positive things in your life, even if you got to write it down. Work at speaking positive things over your life and see what happens. See, that's all I'm going to tell you. See what happened. I bet you won't. I tell you one thing. I bet you things will change. I guarantee you things will change. But you got to stop speaking negative things in your life. Because, listen, one thing I've noticed with the world now is that negativity wins and positivity loses. Good becomes bad. Bad becomes good. That's the way of the world. That's the way the world is going. And a lot of us have gotten caught up in it. We really have. We've got caught up in it. At some point, you got to take control of your life. You got to take your life back. And you got to come up out all that BS. You really do. But only you can do that. You have the power to do whatever you want to do with your life. You really do. We have the power within. The problem is that we don't tap into it. We don't tap into it. And we got too much negative stuff going on in our life for us to tap into our inner self. But it's there. Everything that you need is in you. I'm telling you. And you got the power. You have the power. You just got to tap into it. That's why it's important to heal yourself. That is so important, I'm telling you. Because when you get on your healing journey, right, things start to shift in your life. It really do. Things start to shift in your life. And I'm telling you because I did it. I was a heroin addict, y'all. A heroin addict for years. Do you hear me? And when I made a choice and a decision that I was sick and tired of being sick and tired, and I decided to get clean. Let me tell you something. When I last used, it's been 20 years ago, when I last used, and let me tell you something, I knew that that was going to be my last time using. I knew that. When I went in treatment, I knew that that was it for me. I knew it. I felt it down in my soul that that was it for me. And it was. I have not looked back since. So we have the power to do anything that we want to do. We just got to tap into that power that's within us. Because let me tell you something. We are all here on, I look at this though, we're all here on an assignment that God gave us. Okay? And this is how I look at things. If God hadn't gave me that assignment, God gave me that assignment because he felt like I could do it. You understand what I'm saying? That's how I look at things. Because I feel like God knew what my life was going to be before I did. So if these things happened in my life, it was because that was my assignment that God gave me. And he gave me that assignment because he felt like I was capable of doing it. That's how I look at it. Now, some people may not look at it the way I do, and that's fine. That's fine. But that's how I look at it. When I look back at my life, I didn't choose to be an addict. I didn't want to be an addict, you know. But when I knew anything, someone turned me onto it. I didn't really know what I was getting into. I knew I was doing something wrong, but I didn't know I wasn't educated on it, like that. So when I got caught up in it, it just brought me down. It really did. And so my brother, he's deceased now, but my brother had turned me onto it. And I didn't know a lot about it. I knew I was doing something wrong, but I didn't know it was gonna, tear my life up like that. But he did. But he did. And like I said, I ended up getting clean. And when I look back at my life today, I don't regret nothing I went through. I don't. I don't regret nothing. And I wouldn't change nothing. I'm gonna tell you why. Because like I just said, I feel like God gave me those things because that was my assignment for why I'm here. That was my assignment. And he gave me that assignment for me because he felt like I could do it, that I could handle it. That's just the way I feel, y'all. Now, like I said, everybody not gonna feel the way I feel. But when I look back at everything that I went through, I just feel like God knew that I could make it through that. Is the reason why he gave me, because I feel like we're all here, right, for an experiment, an experience. Let me put it like that, not experiment, but we're all here for an experience, right? And I feel like my experience was what I went through. You see what I'm saying? What I went through was my experience while I'm here. That's just how I look at it. So, I don't celebrate, but okay. Um, so yeah, that's how I look at that, y'all. Now, I don't know how y'all look at it, but that's how I look at it. I look at it as though, yeah, God gave me that because that was my experience while I'm here on earth, you know? And yeah, and I'm proud of myself because I did make it through. It took me some places, but I still made it through, you know? And so that's why I say when I look back at my life, I wouldn't change nothing because the things that I went through in my life made me the person I am today. It made me the person I am today. So no, I wouldn't go back and change nothing. I really wouldn't. I would not do it. I would not go back and change anything. And I am proud of the woman that's standing here before you right now. I'm proud of me. I really am. I can say that with my chest. I'm proud of me. Yeah. And that's what I want to see from people. I want to see people grow and become the best version of their self because I love to see people, get in a good space. I love to see people grow. I love to see people overcome their challenges that they have in their life. And the thing that we have to stop doing is doubting ourselves and being scared. One thing I've learned on my journey is that faith and fear does not live in the same house together. Faith and fear do not live in the same house together. It don't. It don't. You can't say you got faith, but then you letting the fear kill your faith. Think about that. I need y'all to think about that. That's impossible. How you gonna say you got faith, but you allowing your fear to overpower your faith? If you got faith, then that faith supposed to overpower that fear. Think about what I'm saying. So, listen, I'm getting ready to let y'all go. I appreciate y'all for being here with me. I really do. I enjoy talking to y'all and, spreading some of my knowledge and wisdom. And yeah. If y'all are interested in your healing journey, if you want to start your healing journey with me, I will put a link in the description box. Or you could put, better yet, I'll tell you what you do. You can put free in the chat and I will send you the link so that you can get your free journal. Okay? It's free. It don't cost you nothing. But yeah, I will definitely do that. Just put free in the comments and I will definitely send you the link. But yeah, try that. I really want y'all to try that. Try speaking positivity into your life instead of negative and see what happens. Practice that. Even if you got to write it down, right? Get you a little journal or something. Even if you got to write down those things, that you would like to speak into your life. Positive things you would like to speak into your life. Write them down and practice them. Practice makes perfect. And let me tell you something else. Affirmations in the journal, there are some affirmations in the journal. That's a good way to start, right? Talking to yourself, learning how to talk to yourself all over again, using daily affirmations. I'm telling you, those things will help you out in a big way. In a big way. Listen, using affirmations is a game changer because those affirmations will help you to get rid of that negative talk and start replacing it with positive talk. I'm telling you, try it. Try it. You're gonna listen, you're gonna see change. I'm telling you. Because let's be clear about something. I'm gonna leave y'all with this. Let's be clear about something. Anything that you do in life, right? You play a part in how it turns out, right? Hear me out. You plays a part in how it turns out. Anything that you touch in life, you play a part in how it turns out. It's not going to turn out good if you're not in your best bets. It's not going to turn out right if you're not in the best version of yourself. It's not going to turn out right. Think about that. Anything that you deal with in life, you need to be the best version of yourself. Because if you're the best version of yourself, it's going to turn out good. Think about that. Anything, your job, dealing with your children, or anything. If you are not in the best version of yourself, things are not going to turn out as good as they would if you were in the best version of yourself. Think about that. So, your self-confidence matter, your self-esteem matter, your mindset matters. All this plays a part in whatever you decide to touch or get into. All of this plays a part in it. Some of us think that it doesn't matter because we have been living so long doing it our way, doing it our way. And we think that what we're doing is the right thing. But in some cases, your life could be so much better if you was the best version of yourself. Your life could be so much better if only you were the best version of yourself. Think about that. I'm going to leave y'all with that. Thank you all for tuning in with me. Again, this is Lisa's Real Spill, and all we do over here is keep it simple, but we keep it real. Okay. Thank you all for tapping in with me and being a part of this live. Please hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. Okay. Make sure that your bell says all so that when I do come live, you'll get notified. I love y'all, and I will see y'all on the next one. Until then, keep your head on a swivel and stay prayed up.